I had a coincidence so crazy, I almost grounded my daughter for life. I woke up at 2 a.m. to my phone buzzing with a text from my 16-year-old saying she was stranded downtown and needed me to come get her immediately. I panicked and threw on clothes. Emma was supposed to be sleeping at her friend Sarah's house. Why was she downtown at 2 a.m.? I texted back asking what happened, but she just said, "Please hurry, I'm scared." I drove the 20 minutes downtown in pure parent panic mode. When I got to the address she'd sent, I found myself in front of a rundown apartment building in a rough neighborhood. No sign of Emma anywhere. I called her phone, straight to voicemail. I waited for an hour, walking around the building, checking every corner. Nothing. Finally, I saw a homeless man sitting on the steps and asked if he'd seen a teenage girl. He said no, but thanked me for the $20 I gave him for coffee. I drove home furious and terrified. Emma's car was in our driveway. I stormed into her room ready to have the biggest fight of our lives. She was sound asleep in her bed, still in her pajamas. When I woke her up demanding answers, she had absolutely no idea what I was talking about. She showed me her phone, dead battery since 8 p.m. She'd been home all night watching Netflix and fell asleep early. I was convinced she was lying. The text came from her number. I showed her the messages, but she swore she didn't send them. We had a screaming match where I accused her of sneaking out, lying, and God knows what else. She cried and begged me to believe her. I grounded her for a month and took away her phone. She was devastated, keeping saying, "Dad, I swear I didn't do anything wrong." But I was so angry and scared that I couldn't think straight. 3 days later, I got a call from an unknown number. It was a social worker from downtown asking if my daughter was okay. Apparently, someone had been using her stolen phone to call for help, and they wanted to make sure Emma was safe. Turns out, Emma's phone had been pickpocketed at the mall earlier that week. She'd been too embarrassed to tell us because she'd left it on a food court table. The thief had been using it to scam people before the battery died. But here's the crazy part. The homeless man I'd given money to called the police when he saw me looking upset that night. He'd been trying to get clean and had Emma's phone number written down from when the thief tried to sell it to him. He'd been planning to return it but didn't know how to find us. When the police tracked down the thief, they found Emma's phone and a notebook with dozens of scam texts he'd sent pretending to be various teenagers. The 2 a.m. text to me was just one of many he'd sent to parents that night. I felt like the worst father in the world. My daughter had been telling the truth, and I'd punished her for something she didn't do. When I apologized and explained everything, she just hugged me and said, "I knew you'd figure it out, Dad. You always do." The homeless man, James, called us personally to return the phone. Emma insisted we invite him for dinner. Turns out he was a former teacher who'd lost everything after an injury. Emma started volunteering at the shelter where he was staying. 6 months later, James got clean, found housing, and even got a job at the community center where Emma volunteers. He calls her his guardian angel because our family was the first to treat him with kindness in years. The crazy coincidence that almost destroyed our trust ended up bringing our whole family closer and helping someone rebuild their life. Sometimes the worst misunderstandings lead to the most beautiful connections.